ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing the topic taken from the Gospel. In the last class, I was dealing with the subject, the 3 essential keys for a successful, meaningful spiritual life. One is seva, service. Second one, sadhana, practice. Third one, samarpan, dedicating everything to the divine. Seva, sadhana, samarpan. These 3 are interlinked. Seva done in a proper way becomes sadhana, spiritual practice. Seva done with spiritual attitude becomes spiritual practice. When what we have done, when we dedicate it to the divine, it becomes samarpan. No doubt people are very familiar with service, but the service which we are focusing is the service with the attitude of releasing from bondage. Service, if not done with proper attitude, leads one astray. Instead of getting released from bondage, he becomes more bound, aspiring for name and fame, power, position, and so on. The right kind of service is possible only when one sees God in the person served. When you see the divine in a person whom you are serving, you become humble, you do it with reverence, with utmost attention and care. But it is difficult to have this knowledge at the outset. So, to start with, one has to depend on the word of one's Guru and take them on faith. In fact, Guru himself allows the aspirant to serve him in order to teach the value of serving. We must have faith in Swami Vivekananda, the greatest disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who had realization of the Absolute, who has propounded this doctrine of service. The Master's life is the aphorism, as it were, and Swamiji's is a commentary on it. Swamiji formulated this doctrine of service, seeing God in everything, from several incidents in the Master's life. The Master had, on more than one occasion, made Mathur Babu serve the poor. We should know for certain that this world and all living beings are His. He is the Creator. We are His servants. We are blessed to the extent that He in His grace allows us to serve His creatures. This attitude must be there, humbleness. And the idea of the divine must be always present when we are serving. Wife, son, daughter, relatives, friends, relations, they are all but so many creatures of God. Whatever you have to do for them, do so with the idea that you are serving Narayana Himself in those forms. Then you won't get attached too much. The one idea that you always have to keep burning in your heart is that whatever you do is for His sake, for His service. Nothing for yourselves. You should always feel in your heart that everything is done for the sake of the God. If you don't seek any personal benefit, material benefit as it were, God paves the way for spiritual benefit. That means you will get wisdom and freedom from bondage. But if one is false to oneself, one can have neither true spiritual practice nor true service. If you are true to yourself, if your thoughts and actions are in accord with each other, pride and egotism can never assail you, whether you are engaged in spiritual practice or service to God. Service and such other activities that Swami Vivekananda has introduced in the great Ramakrishna mission have to be pursued in association with daily spiritual practices as part and parcel of the latter. Only then will service itself be properly done. Instead of this, if one is carried away by the current of social work, one will find it difficult to maintain one's balance. Sometimes success in social services brings in a sort of infatuation. That's no good. It only makes one forget the ultimate goal of life and leads one astray. The works of service as taught by Sri Ramakrishna can never be done properly without regular meditation and spiritual exercise. Work and worship must be carried on together. That is the golden mean. Work should be followed by worship. Offer a little worship. Offer some prayers. Then proceed to serve. Even as repeating His name and thinking about Him is spiritual practice, so is the service of man when done selflessly. You are wholly mistaken, nay irrational, if you think that you have wasted your life in doing service. Spiritual practice is not of one kind only, it is various. It is renunciation of the ego. Swami Shivanji says to the disciple, look here, you are serving me, that's very good. The Master is very gracious to you, making you serve one of His sons. But my child, while you do the service, you should keep up your spiritual practice. regular meditation and devotions will help you realize who the Master is. It will be your ruin if you think of me just as a man. Swami Chidananda says to disciple, you are with me, nursing my sick body day and night. That's good. But if you think that you alone are serving me and doing something to boast of, you commit a great mistake. Do you understand? Does service mean simply waiting upon me and caring for my body? Does service mean simply waiting upon me and caring for my body? No, that's not it. They also serve me who are very dear to me, who are far away, devotedly carrying on the work of the Lord and sincerely trying to establish Him in their hearts through spiritual practice and work. I am pleased when the Lord is pleased by service. The world is pleased when He is pleased. By doing the work of the Lord, they will get the same results. Then Swami Chidananda tells the disciple, are you performing the service of Thakur quite well? Then he says, be careful, my boy. Be careful. See that there is no flaw. Do his service with all your heart. Do the work of serving the Master and the gods with much application and attention, so that there may not be the slightest flaw. Through this service will be affected the purification of the mind stuff and the attainment of devotion. Life is useless if it is not devoted to the service of God and is spent only in amassing wealth. Swami Premanand Ji, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, said, the present age is in need of selfless heroes in the field of service. Mere talk will not do. This is an age of action. One must prove all this in practice. The need is for silent workers. The need is now for silent preachers. Not mere theory. Actualize it. There has been enough of talk and writing. Put the books aside and let your actions speak. This is what the lives of the Master and Swami Vivekananda stand for. Reduce the external paraphernalia and serve people as God with all love and utmost sincerity. This will certainly bring you devotion and liberation. Have you not acquired in this life the right to love and serve the Lord? Value this right, and above everything, above the self even, over which a glory has been shed by the divine light of love and service. Swami Vivekananda has expressed his views on service very emphatically in complete works. From highest Brahman to the yonder, and to the very minutest atom, everywhere is the same God, the friend, the same God they all love. Friend, offer mind, soul, body at their feet. These are His manifold forms before thee. Rejecting them, where seekest thou for God? Who loves all beings without distinction? He indeed is worshipping best his God. This is the gist of all worship, to be pure and to do good to others. He who sees Shiva in the poor, in the weak and in the deceased really worships Shiva. And if he sees Shiva only in the image, his worship is but preliminary. He who has served and helped one poor man, seeing Shiva in him, without thinking of his caste or creed or race or anything, with him Shiva is more pleased than with the man who sees him only in temples. He who wants to serve the father must serve the children first. He who wants to serve Shiva must serve his children must. Serve all creatures in the world first. It is said in the scriptures that those who serve the servants of God are His greatest servants. So you will bear this in mind. These are all the words of Swami Vivekananda in his complete works. Again he says, let me tell you that you must be pure and help anyone who comes to you as much as lies in your power. And this is good karma. By the power of this, the heart becomes pure. And then Shiva, who is residing in everyone, will become manifest. Selfishness is the chief sin. Thinking of ourselves first. He who thinks, I will eat first, I will have more money than others, and I will possess everything. He who thinks, I will get to heaven before others, I will get mukti before others, he is the selfish man. The unselfish man says, I will be lost, I don't care to go to heaven. I will go to hell if by doing so I can help my brothers. That means a person should be able to suffer, should not care for, should not be afraid of suffering when it comes to service, suffering people. This unselfishness is the test of religion. The life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Do you love your fellow men? Where should you go to seek for God? Are not all the poor, the miserable, the weak gods? Why not worship them first? Why go to dig a well on the shores of the Ganga? Sacrifice in the past has been the law. It will be alas for ages to come. The earth's bravest and best will have to sacrifice themselves for the good of many, for the welfare of all. Buddhas by the 100 are necessary with eternal love and pity. Religions of the world have become lifeless mockeries. What the world wants is character. The world is in need of those whose life is one burning love, selfless. That love will make every word tell like thunderbolt. Awake, awake, great ones. The world is burning with misery. Can you sleep? Let us call and call till the sleeping gods awake, till the God within answers to the call. What more is in life? What greater work? Then Swamiji says, may I be born again and again and suffer thousands of miseries so that I may worship the only God that exists, the only God I believe in, the sum total of all souls, and above all, my God the wicked, my God the miserable, my God the poor of all races, of all species, is a special object of my worship. Doing good to others out of compassion is good, but the seva, service of all beings in the spirit of the Lord, is better. It is our privilege to be allowed to be charitable, for only so can we grow. The poor man suffers that we may be helped. Let the giver kneel down and give thanks. Let the receiver stand up and permit. See the Lord back of every being and give to him. Doing work is not religion, but work done rightly leads to freedom. In reality, all pity is darkness, because whom to pity? Can you pity God? And is there anything else? Thank God for giving you this world as a moral gymnasium to help your development, but never imagine you can help the world. Self-sacrifice, not self-assertion, is the highest law of the universe. Religion comes with intense self-sacrifice. Desire nothing for yourself. Do all for others. This is to live and move and have your being in God. Selfishness is a devil incarnate in everyone. Every bit of self, bit by bit, is devil. Take off self by one side and God enters by the other. The highest ideal is eternal and entire self-abnegation, where there is no I, but all is thou. Swamiji says, who is God? Unselfishness is God. Are you unselfish? That's the question. If you are, you will be perfect without reading a single religious book, without going into a single church or temple. The difference between God and the devil is nothing except in unselfishness and selfishness. It's a privilege to serve mankind, for this is the worship of God. God is here in all these human souls. He is the soul of man. Be grateful to the man you help. Think of him as God. Is it not a great privilege to be allowed to worship God by helping your fellow man? The world is a grand moral gymnasium wherein we have all to take exercise so as to become stronger and stronger spiritually. The first of everything should go to the poor. We have only a right to what remains. The poor are God's representatives. Anyone that suffers is His representative. It is seva that accelerates the sadhana of a seeker and lights the path to God. So seva has got great significance. Seva done in a proper way leads to freedom, and one will be in ecstasy if really one does seva with spiritual attitude. Next comes sadhana. By seva, it accelerates the sadhana of a seeker and lights the path to God. It is rarer still to attain success in our sadhanas because our own past karma would interfere in many ways in the form of obstacles. We ourselves would not be able to recognize them as obstacles. First kind of obstacle is from pratikula mitra. That is, he comes to you as a friend and offers something seemingly in your own interest. In effect, he would, however, distract you. The second kind of obstacle would be in the form of test by divine agencies to find out if we are really sincere about our purpose. Finally, the inimical forces would impede the sadhaka and try to stop him from making spiritual progress. So, these are the points pointed out to us by the spiritual masters. Along with seva, one must do sadhana. All the three are linked together. The first thing that is most important in sadhana is earnestness. What is sadhana? It is spiritual movement consciously systematized. Sadhana is the purpose for which we have come to this place. We are on this earth planet just to do sadhana, not to simply waste the time. People talk in a very philosophical way to cover up their desires. One person was telling he was born to be a householder. He is confirming himself to be a householder. But the secret is he has got great desire. In order to cover up that, he is trying to give a philosophical touch to his desire. Abhyasa and sadhana are synonymous terms. The object of sadhana is to release life from the limitations with which it is bound. Sadhana is a lifelong process. Every day, every hour, every minute is an onward march. Obstacles are innumerable in this great voyage. But so long as you hold God as thy guide, there is nothing to worry about. you are sure to reach the other shore. Some people have curiosity for the spiritual line. They have no real thirsting for liberation. They think they will get certain mystic powers if they do some yogic practices. When they do not attain the powers, they lose patience and give up the practices, abandon the spiritual path, and criticize the yogis and the yoga. Mere curiosity will not help you to attain any spiritual progress. Curiosity mongering is more abominable than mischief mongering. Introspect, analyze your thoughts and find out whether you have real spiritual hunger or mere curiosity mongering. Transmute curiosity mongering into real thirsting for salvation by constant satsang, association with the wise, study of good religious books, prayer, japa, worship and meditation. You must have interest and liking in your sadhana. Liking is very important. If you like it, you can do really wonderfully well. So you must create interest in doing sadhana. Somehow you have to create, according to your own way. You must understand well the technique and benefits of sadhana. You must select a sadhana that is suitable for you. You must have the ability and capacity to do sadhana. Then alone you will have joy in doing the sadhana and full success in it. Service is also one of the sadhanas. Second point is moral purity and spiritual aspiration vital. Good intentions alone will not do. They must be backed up by good actions. You must enter the spiritual path with the best intention of attaining Atma Jnana. But unless you are vigilant and diligent, unless you do intense and rigorous sadhana, unless you guard yourself against lust, anger, egoism and selfishness, the good intentions alone will not enable you to achieve success. So moral purity and spiritual aspiration are the first steps in the seeker's path. Without a strong conviction in moral values, there can surely be no spiritual life or even a good life. Stern self-discipline is absolutely essential. Self-discipline does not mean suppression, but taming the brute within. It means humanization of the animal and spiritualization of the human. You have to break the virgin soil before you sow the seed. The seed breaks itself before it sprouts out as a plant. Destruction precedes construction. This is the immutable law of nature. You will have to destroy your brutal nature first before you develop divine nature. The spiritual path is rugged, thorny and precipitous. The thorns must be weeded out with patience and perseverance. Some of the thorns are internal, some are external. Lust, greed, anger, delusion, vanity, etc. are the internal thorns. Company with evil-minded persons is the worst of all the external thorns. Therefore, shun ruthlessly evil company. During the period of sadhana, do not mix much. Do not talk much. Do not walk much. Do not eat much. Do not sleep much. Observe carefully the 5 do nots which I just mentioned. Mixing will cause disturbances in the mind. Talking much will cause distraction of the mind. Walking much causes exhaustion and weakness. Eating much induces laziness and sleepiness. Then the third point is beware of mixing with worldly. That's why the Mahatmas always say, try to be in holy association as much as you can. Because the worldly company always drags you with terrific speed. And then tramples you down under its feet. During the period of sadhana, you must try to avoid the company of worldly people. You must never mix with such people who distract you from the spiritual path. However strong you may be, Maya works through undercurrents so stealthily that you may not be aware of your actual downfall. Keep the mind fully occupied with spiritual pursuits. Keep yourself at the farthest distance from everything that would stir up your passions. Then only you will be safe. Do not live with bad associations. Do not test your spiritual strength and purity when you are a beginner on the spiritual path. Don't rush into evil associations when you are a spiritual neophyte to show that you have the courage to face sin and impurity. It will be a serious mistake. You will be running into a grave danger. You will have a quick downfall. A small fire will be very easily extinguished by a heap of dust. Mind has a great power of imitation. This is the reason why a spiritual aspirant is prohibited from mixing recklessly with worldly. His mind will try to imitate the minds of worldly people. Downfall will ensue. If an aspirant moves with wealthy people, his mind begins to imitate the luxurious habits of those people, and before long he gets an unconscious downfall. Certain bad habits creep in him unconsciously, and he finds it difficult to tear out or remove these bad habits. So, one has to develop vairagya, cultivate it. The force of impressions is tremendous. Unless all the samskaras are thoroughly burnt through nirvikalpa samadhi, it is not safe for one to stay for a long time in any place where worldly people are actively engaging themselves. So if an aspirant is in such company, he is within the danger zone. The spiritual path may in the beginning appear to be very hard, thorny, precipitous and slippery. Renunciation of objects gives pain at the outset. If you struggle hard to tread the path, if you once make a strong determination and firm resolve, then it becomes very easy. You get interest and new joy. Your heart expands. You have a broad outlook of life. You have a new wide vision. You feel the help from the invisible hands of the indweller of your heart. Your doubts are cleared by themselves by getting answers from within. You can hear the shrill, sweet voice of God. There is an indescribable thrill of divine ecstasy from within. There is deep, abiding, everlasting joy and unruffled peace. There is ineffable, unabating, undiminishing, undecaying spiritual bliss. This gives new strength. The footing in the path becomes firmer and firmer. The Jivan Muktas, Yogins, Nityasiddhas, Amar Purushas and Chiranjeevis lend their helping hands to the struggling aspirants. The aspirants feel this actually. The feeling of loneliness and of being neglected and forsaken vanishes entirely. You are backed up at all times by a mighty power that works everywhere in the cosmos. Therefore you have nothing to fear. Take care of the details in sadhana. The major factor will take care of itself. Some aspirants leave sadhana after some time. They expect great fruits quickly. They expect many siddhis within a short time. When they do not get, they give up the sadhana. There are several ranges of consciousness between the ordinary human consciousness and the supra consciousness of Brahman. Different veils have to be torn down on the way. Many lower centers have to be opened up. Many hurdles have to be crossed before the final goal is reached. One has to be patient, persevering and steady. You have to plod on and scale many hills. You can't climb the Everest in one jump. There is no jumping on the spiritual path. Self-realization is not like a 6-year postgraduate course. It is the result of intense, protracted sadhana. There is no shortcut in the spiritual path. There is no railroad to the kingdom of immortal bliss. There is no half measure in the divine path. Strict, hard discipline is wanted. Then alone you can conquer Maya. Only then can you control the mind. Saints and yogins will never think that they have controlled the mind. Only the deluded sadhaka will imagine he has controlled the mind and get a troubled downfall and get a terrible downfall. It is the very nature of life, mind and prakriti, to be constantly in motion. When there is the idea in the mind that the highest goal is yet to be achieved, you will always move towards it. If you imagine that you have got to the top, you will anyhow have to move, and that movement will be downward. You will have a downfall. Aspire for higher realization till the breath ceases in the nostril. Spiritual progress is slow, as the spiritual sadhana is difficult and laborious. It is like the spiral. In the beginning, great striving is needed. Gradually the circle becomes smaller and smaller. So also, the striving becomes less and less. The aspirant gains spiritual strength slowly. He marches faster and faster. Finally, he does not go by furlongs after furlongs. He proceeds by mile after mile. He gallops and gallops. Therefore, be patient, be persevering, and be steady. We shall stop here, continue the topic next Tuesday. So, Seva, Sadhana, Samarpana. These are the 3 essential keys for the meaningful, peaceful and blissful spiritual life. It was the night of the full moon. For some time Narendra had been going to Dakshineshwar daily. He spent a great deal of time in the Panchavati in meditation and contemplation. This day he returned from Dakshineshwar in the evening. Tarak and Kali were with him. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. Moonlight and the south wind added to the charm of the garden house. Many of the devotees were meditating in the room downstairs. Referring to them, Narendra said to M, "They are shedding their upadhis one by one." A few minutes later, M came into Sri Ramakrishna's room and sat down on the floor. The master asked him to wash his towel and spittoon. M washed them in the reservoir. Next morning, Sri Ramakrishna sent for M. After taking his bath in the Ganges and saluting the master, he had gone to the roof. Sri Ramakrishna asked Yam to bring his grief-stricken wife to the garden house, where she could have her meal. The master said to Yam by a sign, "Ask her to come. Let us stay here a couple of days. She may bring the baby." Yam said, "Yes, sir. It would be fine if she developed intense love of God." Sri Ramakrishna answered again by signs, "Oh, grief pushes out devotion." And he was such a yogi, and he was such a big boy. Krishna Kishore had 2 sons. They were of the same age as Bhavanath, and each had 2 university degrees. They both died, and Krishna Kishore, Jnani that he was, could not at first control himself. "How lucky I am that I have none." Arjun was a great Jnani, and Krishna was his constant companion. Nevertheless, he was completely overwhelmed with grief at the death of his son Abhimanyu. "Why doesn't Kishori come? Why doesn't Kishori come?" A devotee said, "He comes to the Ganges every day for his bath." Master said, "But why doesn't he come here?" Devotee, "I shall ask him to come, sir." Master said, "Why doesn't Harish come?" 2 young girls aged 9 and 10 who belonged to M's family sang several songs about the Divine Mother for the Master. They had sung for him when he had visited M's house at Shampoko. The Master was very much pleased with their songs. After they had finished, they were sent for by the devotees to sing for them downstairs. Master said to him, "Don't teach the girls any more songs. It is different if they sing spontaneously, but they will lose their modesty by singing before anyone and everyone. It is very necessary for women to be modest." Flowers and sandal paste were placed before the master in a flower basket. He sat on his bed and worshipped himself with these offerings. Sometimes he placed flowers and sandal paste on his head, and sometimes on his throat, sometimes on his heart, and sometimes on his navel. Let's stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and to quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Own name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing His name for that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge thy is my wretchedness, who find this empty life and heart, no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good bread all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the deciding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.